Hello everybody, welcome you on the next Frogeex Green Tech Lives. Today we have another wonderful session with the one and only Dr. Julio Campos. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much for the invite. It's very,
More
very
than
nice
welcome.
to be here.
More than welcome. Sorry, pardon me for the interruption. It was not intended for sure. So just a quick recap. We are streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So for those of you that would have any comments, questions to Dr. Julio Campo, definitely invite you to kind of go into the chat function, comments, whatever, share your observations, questions, whatever is of interest for you. And of course, related to agroecology, because that's the topic of today. So, as we are kind of digging deeper and deeper into all these sustainability related issues and kind of uncovering one layer and after another, and you hear a lot about the state of soil and soil health and how degraded soils are. We see a lot of practices that are popping up. A lot of regeneration is being kind of used as a buzzword nowadays. And the reason why we want to talk today about agroecology is we want to kind of find an orientation spot on the topics of regenerative practices in terms of agriculture. And agroecology is a kind of umbrella concept for regenerating soil, taking care of their health, and having all these positive impacts, which I believe Dr. Julio Campos will then share with us. So this would be the objective of today. We will have a little conversation, maybe with some also visuals to be shared for you. Again, if you would have any questions, just drop us a message. And meanwhile, I would just maybe do a little intro on Dr. Julio Campo, if that is okay for you, Julio.
Yeah, okay.
Super. So I'm really excited because Julio is also on the advisory board of Frogeex, apparently responsible for sustainability, or kind of helping us out quite a lot in terms of sustainability and all the various projects and aspects. He has a background in ecology, oceanology, environmental economics, and is really a true luminary in the field of sustainability and systemic analysis of projects and developments. In his capacity of a peer reviewer, he was working on sustainability reports using a systemic approach to assess their veracity and the broader implications of their contents, also helping to develop sustainability and governance indicators for the agroecological production. With an experience in ecological and computational engineering, he was also serving as a sustainability project advisor at the Ecological and Computational Engineering Laboratory Unicamp. As a project manager at Pangea, he managed environmental projects related to solid waste recycling cooperatives, bridging also the gap between government, private sector, and environmental initiatives. During his tenure as a researcher and professor at the Federal University of Bahia, he played a pivotal role in research, project management, and teaching in environmental engineering. His diverse expertise and experience extends also to the environmental impact assessment consulting with Horizonte 21, specializing in social economic studies, and their directorship at Techno-Oceanic, where he oversaw projects related to artificial reefs and fisheries development. Now, with these, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome again Julio, or Dr. Julio Campo, today here with us. And let's start maybe with just a simple question regarding agroecology. Could you maybe share with us some principles, because there is so much noise, so much information in terms of regenerative practice, permaculture, horticulture, agroforestry, and it's a kind of a lot of happening. And how is agroecology kind of creating a framework for that? And if you can share with us also maybe some principles, some core principles of agroecology.
There is a lot of I don't like to say confusion, but between agroecology, permaculture, and agroforestry, which another name of agroecology, etc.
Mhm.
But agroecology system is basically a system that is have some scientific backgrounds on how it works is not something that you are going trying and testing how it goes. There's a lot of just a position between agroecology, permaculture, but some permaculture practices are more on the testing and see what happens.
Hmm.
Why agroecology has is often grounded with the support of scientists, or the support of universities, etc. So the farmers who are moving into agroecology, they will have knowledge on how to develop the system. But basically, what a agroecological system is, its goal is to replicate the ecological functional structure of a forest. Okay, so that's why we for agroecology, agroforestry, we interchange that.
Hmm.
So we can have a nearly self-sustainable system, which it doesn't require external inputs, and you can have all the internal services of that this microsystems working on to benefit the farmers. Okay, but on a very structured way on the sense of techniques applied. At the bottom line, at the very end, if we see a agroecology system, if you see a permaculture system, there are, at the end, the results that they are basically the same. There are people who say that there's difference. There are people that say that there aren't. I from my side, I don't think they are that different. They are just made through different methodologies, through different ways to achieve the same goal, which is to regenerate the ecosystem while providing economical return as produces for the farmer.
Mhm. So, I mean, that's apparently quite an important element. We know that farming is a kind of a dying profession. The average age of farmers, at least, when we talk, I mean, in the US, it's partially around 68 years. I mean, it's slightly lower in Europe. But when we consider that, such an important element for our society, apparently providing us with food, etc., having also economic impacts, etc., has such major problems and is also in such a stage that, as mentioned, we have a dying profession here. Where do you see agroecology kind of bringing new wind into farming as what was done before? And what are the kind of major differences compared to conventional agriculture right now, which is still being in scale utilized?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because here in Rondônia, which is at a southern part of Amazon area, it's a state over there, where we are developing some projects. We are seeing two aspects. One, the young people, usually the grandsons of the farmers, sometimes the sons, are moving back from the cities to the farms because they are seeing that the agroecology systems not only provide a good financial return, but also a stable one, and do it way better quality of life on the countryside than on the cities here. Because, for instance, with giving amount of money here, on the city, you have a very medium to poor life. On the countryside, you have a way better life. Now, another very important movement, and that you said on the come to the economic side, is that many traditional farmers are moving to agroecology systems for financial security, because there's a example that we have there. This farmer, he had had used to have cattle for milk, and he was tied to the market prices for milk. So if the price went down, he will have less money, uh, etc. So once he moved to agroecology systems, he started to provide timber, cacao, uh, a bit of corn, a basket of products to the market. So if you one product, the price of one product goes down on the market, he have others to offer and keep its income stable. So he has more stability when it comes to financial input. And the third one is that they have more security in terms of food supply, because as they are farming and producing a wide range of products for their families, they have more security about if it, about the food that is available for them. So if they have one crop fails, let's say, they have what others at the same time that can r- be there to support them, and then they don't need to go into the market to buy food and have that extra expense, which can be a little bit high.
So, I mean, it's also a lot of that I hear out of what you're saying is basically also self sufficiency, autonomy,
Yes,
able to kind of cover up the elements which you would typically go and look for, especially when you focus on one plant or one element that you base your production or your sales, your output on. So when we talk about, maybe you can just quickly wrap it up for us regarding the principles, the core principles or methodologies for having a farm that is based on agroecological practice aligned with this basic. What would be typically the methods that would be applied? If you can sum it up with us, maybe in few points.
yeah. Well, let me share some images.
Yeah, definitely, always welcome. So in the meanwhile, I would like to also
Not
invite
see this one.
everybody.
So
Yes, it's coming. So we will have a shortly upcoming masterclass on systemic thinking. So I'm using this opportunity to let you know this. It's going to be a free masterclass, October 5th. You can check out the details on our Frogeex page. And now let's go into the graphic. Hopefully everybody can see that. Maybe you can.
okay.
Mhm.
So can you see this
Yes,
image? Yes.
yes.
Uh, yeah. Okay. So
I think it works. Yep. Mhm.
the first, there's a few basic steps to be taken. One is the very start is to get the environment that was degraded, let's say for a pasture for cattle, and stabilize it to with initial crops. Uh, Let me see if you
Maybe meanwhile, I can
can.
already have a question. Maybe I can ask you meanwhile a question because you mentioned this initial plants. Is this the same as pioneering plants to be used on the field?
Not necessary. There are some, but here as you can see this image here. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is yes. The idea is to have this the ecological succession, but at the very beginning, we need to stabilize and regenerate the soil, because if the soil is bad, there's no way to system to grow. So something that you can see here. is the main crop that will be grown here on this system. This is a 8 months old system. Okay, it was a pasture before uh, for cattle. It was uh, just as we can see at the edge of the image here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is cocoa. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, some pumpkins. Here is the kind of soil that we find there in Amazon after deforestation. Okay, it's very poor sandy, so we need to recover that soil back. So this is chestnut that is grown here. They grow that, yes, this one, grow that all together. So here, a brief example. That same first image. Here is the system. Here is what it was before, 8 months before. Okay, that
Mm-hmm.
this wasteland. So we have the main uh, crop of cacao. We have some timber uh, that is used also for add more income to the farmers. We have, you can see here, irrigation lines because the system is not yet self capable of retaining the water. And now a few interesting characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
This what we see as all this dead material is not by chance. It's on purpose and is planned where it is lay off. So it helps to keep the to protect the soil, keep the water in the soil, and protect the and give the nutrients back. So the first step will be to start with something like this to protect and regenerate the soil so it can start to provide nutrients, water, and etc. Then, this is a typical vision of Amazon area. What you see there, patches of forest and cattle land.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the curious, is a area nearby how it was. And here, yes, for instance, this is another system. If I recall, it's this image is from 2018. It was about 5 to 6 years old. Here we have the cocoa trees all grown up, but here is indigenous species of tree, and it's very interesting because this tree it pumps water from the underground and releases on above the crop, so it keeps the humidity and the water available stable all over the year. Here also there are lots of leaves and branches decomposing, which are recycling the nutrients and fixing the carbon back on the soil. That's that aerial view of that image. It was
Mm-hmm.
taken here. Okay, but yeah, you may see that it looks like a more a kind of monoculture here, but it's here, as you can see, it's all a agroecological system. But now here we are looking all those, as you asked about succession, is about all the other trees that grow up and are all now on the top of the system, like this one. This
Mm-hmm.
image was taken here, but it is also everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they are providing all those services for the production that's happening below. So first is okay, regenerate the soil. Then it will here is 3 months old system starting to the second state phase regenerate the springs.
Mm-hmm.
The spring was dying and now is it starts to come back now. Okay, so this is what it will look like at the very beginning, and at the end you have that kind of more diverse system. Another very interesting example of the managing. Now this is another system also for
Let's
cacao.
have a look. Mhm.
This also looks quite random, but it isn't. The farmer learns and knows uh, which plot of the land needs more nutrients, which needs more soil cover, etc. And he on purpose add more or less coverage to that area. Okay, so we have leaves, we have branches, we have cacao, that cacao fruits. So this is actually on purpose. It was covered this way. This is about half to 1 feet deep, 30 centimeters, and is for those who never seen before. This is a active carbon sink, moving carbon from trees, from vegetation to the soil and storing that on the soil. That's how it looks.
Great. So just to follow up also on the topic of nutrition and fertility of the soil and fertilizers as well. So what I understand is when we have this agroecological practice, basically, do you utilize only the material that is coming from the area, like being as efficient as possible with the combination of plants that you
Yeah,
have? They
yes,
fertilize the soil.
yes. At the when the system is finished and stable, that take a few years, 5 to 10. That depends on the how the where is put on, how the soil was before, how long it takes to regenerate. It yes, the idea is that it's not necessarily self-sustainable, but to be as much as possible. But it also interacts with around that there's forests,
Hmm.
there's native vegetation. It interacts with that, so it benefits from inputs and exchange that happen. So, for example, the agroecology system, as that image that puts, can help. It's very useful to regenerate a water spring, which will help to add water to a river passing by, which can be used to, if needed, irrigate the system. Let's say on in this age of extreme climate events,
Hmm.
if necessary. So it works. It produces the water, and that water can be used back to that system as well. It works interacting together with it has some imports of nutrients, etc., but from other systems. But the key point here is that there's no chemical inputs. There's no need for that. And there is also, which is very interesting, no need once is established virtually no need for pesticides or that kind,
Hmm.
because those farmers learn how to using the ecology of the systems to have the plagues controlled by the predators, for instance. So
Hmm.
we have this case of a farmer here, which is very, very emblematic. We have this fungus that targets cacao only. In Bahia, in many other states, is that kind of stuff that once the crop got that the contamination, burn it down and it starts from scratch.
Hmm.
This farmer in particular, it was very interesting. He learned how to manage that contamination. So at any time on the year, he had 10% of his crop contaminated at most. That's something that on traditional cacao agriculture and management would require the completely destruction of the crop. He manages that problem,
Mm,
but that's how you see the other very important point. A agroecology system is not an industrial one. It is a very high intensive on human work. So how this farmer manage that sickness, the fungus that attack the plants? He goes every day looking one by one every tree of cocoa, and when he saw that is starting a bit of fungus there, he knows exactly how to remove that with a small knife and take away to keep the contamination. So it's very labor intensive.
mm.
That's not something that you can do with tech, high-end tech or software.
Mhm. So this is a super interesting point because there was also one of the following questions. Yeah, how does it? I mean, also a difference compared to what we have now with highly industrialized, highly scalable agriculture. Is agroecologically based or produced food or agriculture production scalable? Can we do it? Or what would be the approach? Where would you see an option to?
Yes, no. Yes, yeah, it is totally scalable, but on the not on the same way as mainstream agriculture. Sure. On industrial agriculture, what we mean by scalable is getting more area, taking down and planting the seeds and harvesting,
Mhm,
but with, let's say, the same machinery, the same uh, people.
mhm,
On agroecology, when you talk about scaling up, we talk about on a patch of land, let's say, adding many and many small farms, each farm with from a family supporting a family and having its system with its production. So you can have, instead of having have a huge patch of land growing corn, which, let's say, half dozen of machinery working there, you will have dozens of families living there, working, producing. That's creating jobs, that's supporting all those families financially. So there's a huge positive social footprint. So and on that same patch, you're having all those small systems. Let's switch for hectares. Let's say you have, instead of mono culture like corn or etc. You have uh, let's say that 10% have a focus on production this product, another 20% has a focus on product another one, besides its other produces.
mhm,
So you have a broad variety of products for the market,
mhm,
and uh, which are very high quality, because one is there's no chemical on that, which is very important, and they have more nutritional values for the food. That's how you scale the difference of how you scale up agricultural system. You don't increase the size of the system; you increase the number of systems
mhm.
at the area.
Interesting component. And now we have also, when we are kind of going through such elements, because it's really like a complete change to what we see right now is working, how we are used to produce food right now. It goes really into maybe more traditional ways of producing food or doing agriculture. We see super efficient. You mentioned like a word. It was random. It looks random, but it's actually on purpose. and
Yes.
designed that way. So very, very interesting, because for me it also looked like a wild system, something that you maybe manage a little bit, but it's not, it's not actually so well, so precisely managed. But it's actually the opposite. It's just the technique is different. Now, when we talk about current agriculture and agroecologic principles, can we fuse these two? We have a lot of these agrovoltaic systems, a lot of discussion about, okay, let's do things differently. Let's maybe also reduce land footprint. What would be your take on that? And that would be eventually also the last question for today. So let's keep it short to also manage with the time, as we are almost 6 minutes overdue.
Yes, agri-solar is on the hype now.
Hmm.
Uh, but to merge that with agroecology system, I see it's not quite feasible
Hmm.
because, as you see, we have all these different stratas of vegetation. So we have the lower vegetation. We have huge trees. So tree can go up to 50 meters high, or 60 or more.
Hmm.
So you have this shading problem, and a solar farm need to be efficient, needs to be uh, or everywhere. So all the panels need to be as more concentrated as
Hmm.
possible.
Hmm.
So I don't see agroecology working mixes together with solar,
Hmm.
for instance. You can work with wind, for instance. That's better. But
Wonderful.
we need to keep in mind, that not all places are suitable for put agroecological production system.
Hmm.
So that place could be okay for agriculture solar system.
Hmm.
So it's about uh, as the same situation as we talked before. You can have the same situation of a agroecological system here is different from the one 10 kilometers away. You cannot just copy paste there. So we need to see, yes, here it will be better suitable for agri-solar system. Here
Hmm.
it's better suitable for agroecology system. So it always depends on where we want to do that, and if that place can uh, be done there.
Understand. So what would be your tip, also maybe just to close the session for today, for municipalities, for farmers that are rethinking their business models, and also networks of there is a whole movement in terms of the regenerative agriculture element. So what would be your kind of consideration to give them on the way, and also for communities planning to kind of step into this area in terms of how to combine the systems, even in maybe one community have one, as you mentioned, one system based on maybe agrivoltaics, the other one on agroecology. What would be your key that would you give them on the way to reconcile the ratios, or whatever you would like to mention in that part?
Well, yes, major points. Seek for assistance. There are lots of people working on that with knowledge that will di- uh, direct you, the communities, the farmers, to the best way to develop the system where they live.
Hmm.
Okay, uh, build up the community, because one farm is good enough to supply for the farmer family, is good enough to sell a little bit in the market, but if they want to improve the quality of life a little bit, they need to go for like a cooperative where they can put mass products on the market, mass high quality health products on the market. Okay, let's not confuse with industrial agriculture. And if they are starting, that's important. It's a transition, so it will take a few years to be there where they want. So they will need to have some support for during that transition, they will have to keep on with traditional agriculture to provide the part of the support, the financial support.
Mhm.
So it's not that it will happen overnight. It takes a few years. So during that, there's this transition where through which they will l- build the system and learn about the system
Mhm.
and have. So it needs a little bit of patience.
Mhm. And I know I said already the last question, but maybe this is the last and final one. Would carbon credits be the link to connect it to, or some kind of like a stimulation tool that provides financial incentives for the farmers to farm to build up carbon or healthy soil, storing carbon, and prepare the soil to be cultivated further in an ecological manner?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Carbon more important than sequestration, storage is one of the major aspects of agriculture system. So there are lots. There compared to we can compare with traditional agriculture. It's a huge amount of carbon that is sequestered and stored on agriculture. So yes, carbon credits, the carbon market is one important way for to incentivize the farmers to move
Mhm.
on that direction. For that, that's let's say a intangible income because it's naturally coming from the carbon that they are sequestering. But yes, that's definitely.
Mhm. Thank you so much for sharing, Julio, and also having the time with us, showing or sharing with us your project. And yeah, we welcome your thoughts, of course, on any other topics related to ecologic challenges which we have. And with this, I would thank you so much again, everybody, and I see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, guys. Anything else? Call, ask, and Yana will help Frogeex, and Yana will help provide you with assistance. But thank you for the invite, and hope that we can do something or other presentations next time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We continue. So thank you so much, and I wish you a great rest of the day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.